right, thank you. So good afternoon and good morning to some. My name is Sylvia Staples, and I am the Resource Assistant Program Manager for the Washington office, located actually in Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm excited today to bring to you the Resource Assistant Program, where I will be covering the program as a whole, sharing some of our objectives, our goals, some of our data, as well as informing you guys on how to request an RA, how to engage an RA, and how to hire an RA. So I would like to first start off by introducing my mighty teammate here, Vanessa Reyes, if you would like to introduce yourself.
Thanks, Sylvia. Hi, all. My name is Lady Vanessa Reyes. Pronouns are she and her, and I am the program specialist for Resource Assistance Program. I am Sylvia's right-hand person, and I'll mention that I myself was a resource assistant in 2019, and a year later, I was converted to permanent employment into the Forest Service, and I was one of the 26 DHA hirees. So I've been working on the wrap, and I'm helping Sylvia with onboarding, orientation, and RA engagement. I'm happy to help answer any questions that you may have. Thanks, Sylvia.
No problem. Thank you so much. So yeah, so as you can see, we have a small team, but we are mighty in the work that we do and the services that we provide. And I would be remiss if I did not also acknowledge that we do also have assistance from one of our detailers, who is Michaela Williams. He helps us with our agreements, as well as Don Meyer, who is the Region 9 Volunteer Services Coordinator, who is also a part of our dream team here for the Resource Assistance Program, along with others. But yes, at this time, we'll go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we will kick this off. Okay, so this is the Resource Assistance Program. The Resource Assistance Program falls under the National Partnership Office within the Workforce Development Partnership Service Hub. That was a recent transition from RHBR to NPO. As those of you that may be more familiar with us being housed under the RHBR, we have then since transitions to NPO, and we're excited about this transition in this new Workforce Development Partnership Hub. And we are under the leadership of Marlene Mazik, who is the acting director. So the Resource Assistance Program was established in 2016 in the Forest Service. The program is a rigorous and immersive paid experience for individuals that may have an interest in conservation, natural resources, cultural resources, research and development, as well as environmental management. The Resource System Program allows us to prioritize engagement of those that are current students. Some may even be recent graduates, which majority are recent graduates. And we really put particular interest on those that are from minority serving institutions and underrepresented populations. To date, we have engaged over 1,100 resource assistants throughout the agency who has made significant contributions to the essential work that we do in the agency. Recently, within the Equity Action Plan, Item 3, which addresses achieving a representative and inclusive and thriving workforce, this workforce development is central to our ability to develop a more diverse future workforce and improve hiring outcomes, all while also getting critical work done. And the Resource Assistance Program is very instrumental in helping the agency to reach that goal. So I want to cover a little bit of the objectives of the program. So keep in mind that this is a workforce development program. So as you think about the Resource Assistance Program and how you might use this program, think of it as a succession planning tool. And we want to use this program to help build workforce capacity as well as removing those barriers of success for those that are coming from underrepresented communities. And I just want to also make sure that we point out that this should not be confused with any of our other hiring initiatives that has a simple goal of capacity building and getting work done. This is a workforce development program, and we really place emphasis on that mentorship and that professional development piece and really providing that great Forest Service experience and exposure to these participants. So we really use this program, as you can see, to attract and retain a diverse and inclusive workforce. And we do this through our amazing partners, in which I will cover a little later. I want to cover some of the benefits of this program. So the program provides a stipend. The stipend range from $500 to $750 a week. The majority of our resource assistants do have a bachelor's degree. Some might even have master's, and we have also had some that have a PhD. And so for those that have a more advanced degree or might have more specialized experience, we try to also provide them that higher stipend, as well as if it's within the unit's budget that has requested the RA. Each RA also receives $1,000 as a housing allowance, and they are provided that regardless of their status. So if they're working in person or virtually, they will receive that housing allowance. In addition to that, all in-person RAs also receive $50 of a commuter allowance monthly, which that can be used to reimburse any of their logistical costs. In addition to those benefits, we also have healthcare that an RA can opt in or opt out of. We also provide some paid time off. We have recently expanded the program from 6 months to 8 months to 12 months. So an 8-month RA, just as an example, will receive 56 hours, which is the equivalent of 7 days of PTO. Each RA is also provided travel training funds. The travel training funds are $2,750. These funds can be used for anything professional development. So if there's a training or a workshop or a conference that will promote professional development for the RA, they can tap into those funds to attend that conference or whatever their training might be. They can also use these funds to relocate to your unit or any other travel costs that they might incur. RAs are given the equivalent of the minimum of a GS level experience. So yes, we have some RAs again that are being paid the higher cost and that are working in more of a higher level role, but we do ask that they are provided at least a minimum of a GS5 level of experience. The eligibility of the program. So for program participation, pretty simple, pretty easy. They must be a current student or a recent grad. And again, we really like to put more preferences on recent grad, just again, because of the length of term that one will be working in the program or participating in the program. It really presents a challenge for some that might be a current student while they're trying to juggle their college classes as well as their full-time position in the program. So we really try to make sure that we engage more recent graduates or those that may have maybe like a semester left once they start the program. And also they must be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, because the ultimate goal is to convert them into a permanent position in which, again, you must be a U.S. citizen. And successful completion of the program, that looks like completing 960 hours minimum. Again, I did say that our RAs are working 8 and 12 months, so they will, if they stay in the program for the entirety of their term, they will, of course, accumulate more than 960 hours. But once they hit 960 hours, they have met the minimum requirements of the program. Along with those hours and at least a minimum of an associate's degree and satisfactory performance in their position, then they will be awarded a certificate. That certificate is the direct hire authority certificate, as well as the non-competitive hiring authority. So it's one certificate with two authorities. And just to cover those authorities really quickly, the non-competitive eligibility allows one to apply to our positions on USA Jobs that they usually would not have the opportunity to apply for. So it gives them that internal merit status for any positions that are posted on USA Jobs for special authorities. The second authority that they receive is the direct hire authority. The direct hire authority allows us to appoint one into the position without further competition. And when we appoint them into a position, it can be a temp, term, or permanent position. They may use this authority multiple times within 2 years of eligibility. So again, their certificate is good for 2 years. RAP 2.0. So in 2020, we reintroduced the program to RAP 2.0 to the agency. This reintroduction was our way to standardize our engagement of the resource assistants. In this cohort model, we provide two cohorts annually. We have a winter cohort, which usually has a January, February start date, as well as a summer cohort with a June start date. This really allows us to be able to engage those that are recently graduating from college. So getting after those December graduates, as well as those May graduates. The RAs may apply for a position that could be either 8 or 12 months in length. We do offer an opportunity for units to extend their RA, but again, the ultimate goal is to develop them, mentor them, and hire them. So we don't want to make professional resource assistants, and we do have a maximum of hours that one can serve in the program. Through this cohort model, we are really able to align the work that we do with workforce planning, succession planning, again, and making sure that we are developing these professionals to be able to then convert into positions in the agency. The positions are currently being funded by local units. So if you request an RA, it is up to you provide the funding. We are hoping that in the future, we will be fully funded from the Washington office. We have recently received some funds, some EJA funds from the infrastructure bill, but we have certain requirements that we must meet. And so we're still working out the processes that we will use in providing that opportunity to have them funded by the Washington office. But as of right now, they are funded by local units. Again, also the cohort model allows us to really streamline these agreements as we manage the agreements at the Washington office, and we provide that national program guidance, ensuring that we are all in compliance with the program and just monitoring for the standards for high quality outcomes. We really wanted to improve our outcomes and our accountability. And it was a little tough trying to do that when you had so many different agreements on the local units, on the different floors, in the different regions. And so now having national agreements as well as regional agreements that are all standardized, we are able to again improve those outcomes. And again, we're also providing onboarding and orientation support. So there's a lot that the RAP 2.0 has been able to do for us. And again, it has increased our success of the program. I want to cover the base cost of an RA. So this is based on an 8-month RA assignment. And before I do that, I also want to just address the 8 months. So if you are very familiar with the program and you have participated in the program, then you will know that we used to provide a 6-month term. The 6-month term would allow an RA to complete the minimum 960 hours. However, if they were going to be hired, then they needed longer to be in the program to be able to get through the hiring process. And so we decided to have an 8-month process so that once they hit the 6 months, they are issued their certificate. And then they have still 2 more months while they are working for us through the partner to be converted into their position. So that was one of the main reasons of why we changed it from the 6 months to the 8 months. And then that just allows us to also not have to continue to do those modifications to our participating agreements to add more funds to our agreements for the RA to have. So just kind of wanted to provide that information. So covering the base cost, again, I talked about our living allowance of $500 to $750. So this just kind of gives a rough estimate of the living allowance in some of the other costs that we incur for the resource assistance program. So I'll just let you guys kind of take a moment and look through this. So moving right along, I would like to share with you guys our partners for the Resource Assistance Program. So again, we administer this program through participating agreements with our amazing partners. At the top, you'll see our national partners, Environment for the Americas, who is one of our newest partners. We began working with them as a follow-up from the Core Network, who is one of our older partners that we first started the program with. And then it branched off into really fully engaging with the Environment for the Americas. They have been a great partner so far. Following that, we have Mobilize Green, who's one of our longstanding partners, Hispanic Access Foundation, Green and Youth Foundation, as well as, again, another new partner is going to be our Manners, which stands for Minorities and Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Related Sciences. At the bottom, you will see all of our regional partners. We have NSEP, which stands for Alaska Native Science and Engineering Program, Conservation Legacy, Great Basin Institute, Montana Conservation Corp, and Northwest U Corp. So these are our amazing RAP partners, and we are excited to continue engaging our resource assistants through our partnerships. So I want to cover roles and responsibilities because this is a community of practice, and it's up to all of us to do our part to ensure the success of the program and to ensure the success of the resource assistant. So I'll start with the Washington office and talk a little bit about our roles that we play. So the Washington office, we are responsible for managing and administering the agreements, providing onboarding support. And when I say onboarding, we order all of the computers, we initiate and request the Forest Service profiles, and make sure that they are ready to go, ready to start working when they show up to your unit. We also provide orientation. All the resource assistants must attend a 1-week orientation, which we manage and host in partnership with the Green and Youth Foundation. We are also responsible for all of the reporting and the policy of the agreements. The RO or RSA, Region Station Area liaisons are what I call them. They are really instrumental in helping us to approve those RA proposals. So when you actually submit a request for an RA, we really rely on our liaisons to kind of filter through those requests to make sure that you are sure about the program, that you understand the program, the intent of the program, and that the resource assistant program is a good fit. They also help us to align the funding support for the resource assistance, as well as some of the coordinating of the funding with you as a requester, as well as the budget point of contact. They help with networking the RA. A lot of our liaisons will provide workshops and webinars to do that RA engagement, making sure that they are introduced to leadership, making sure that they are supported, as well as they issue the certificates. So at the end of the program or at the end of their term, the partners will provide what we call a statement of completion to the RSA liaison. And then the RSA liaison will issue the certificate that's being signed by either in the Washington office, one of our directors, or in the region, it's going to be the regional forester or a deputy regional forester. And for research and development, it'll be a station director. For our partners, they are responsible for the outreach and recruitment, managing our benefits. So I talked about those travel training funds. So if there's a training or travel that you want your RA to attend, you will work with the partner and they will administer those benefits and just making sure that all the logistics are taken care of. They also provide full administrative and reporting requirements for the agreements and provide program support. So they too also provide workshops and webinars to promote professional development. And last but not least, our resource assistants. It's up to them to show up ready to go, ready to work, ready to learn, ready to grow, develop those expertise, and to pursue career development and perform essential Forest Service work. And again, hopefully become a Forest Service employee. So next, I would like to share some data. We love numbers, we love data. How successful has the resource assistant program been? Where are they being engaged? What positions? All of that we will cover now. So this graph here shows the participation of, since we have been engaged in the program since 2016. As you can see, Region 5 has engaged the most resource assistants, coming in at 262 RAs to date. Following that, we have Region 8 with 199 resource assistants, Region 3 with 131, Region 9 with 128. And so we're excited that the other regions are now starting to engage the resource assistant program more. And we're hoping that as we continue to bring awareness to the program and doing more presentations like this, that we will get more engagement in other regions. But we're excited about where we are and where we're going. This slide here shows the RA participation by the partners. So as you can see, I talked about Mobilize Green and Green and Youth being one of our longer standing partners. So Mobilize Green has to date engaged 446 RAs, and Green and Youth Foundation has engaged 264. Followed by number three is going to be one of our regional partners, which is Conservation Legacy. And so we're excited about our new partners, Environment for the Americas and Manners, and we know that they're going to continue to grow. And we just, again, are excited about the engagement and the quality of RAs that they will bring into the program. And I also like to acknowledge that the data that I'm sharing is compiled data that we receive from the partners. So all partners are required to provide quarterly participant information. And so once they provide these quarterly, we compile all the data, and this is what you see. So all of this data is up to date, up to this FY for Q3. Just wanted to acknowledge that. So looking at the gender, all-time gender, of course, this program again is designed to reach underrepresented communities. So focusing on those from those underrepresented communities, such as the minority serving institutions, but also women. So we are really doing great in the category of females. As you can see, we have engaged 710 females to date, followed by 398 males. Next up, this graph shows our ethnicity of all time. We have 792 participants that have reported not Hispanic. 303 have reported to be Hispanic, and 20% or 20 have reported no answer. Race all time. For our white or Caucasian category, we have 516 RAs have reported, followed by 158 have decided to not provide a response. 145 have reported to be Black or African American. We have 53 that have reported to be American Indian, Alaska Native, 52 reported as Asian, and 3 reported as Native Hawaiian. And I just also want to acknowledge that we are working with our partners to expand their outreach and their network of underrepresented communities. So we recently had a presentation and a workshop with the Indigenous Native American community, and all of our partners were there. They did presentations. So we're hoping that by providing these type of efforts and opportunities that we can engage more participants from the other underrepresented communities. And also, you guys, we're all Forest Service employees. We are all responsible for helping recruit and tapping into these communities. So we look for any suggestions, any ideas that you might have, and any assistance that you can provide as we work with our partners. This slide here shows our total number of RAs. We have 1,115 RAs to date, and this shows the focus areas. So as you can see, we have more RAs that have participated in the program in the area of natural resources and recreation, followed by lands and special uses, some outreach and partnership positions, public affairs, communications, conservation ed. So we're really heavy on those administrative type positions, but we do have a great deal of those field going natural resource type positions, and we're excited about engaging other areas that we have not yet tapped into. And so we are again hoping that this presentation, along with the others that we do, will bring more awareness to the program, and then we can really hit all the areas of the Forest Service to provide that great exposure and experience in all our resource areas. The average age of the Resource Assistance Program participant is 29, but we have had a range of participants being at the youngest 20 years of age and 64 years of age. So now I would like to show some of our agency data. This slide here shows their PLC and RAP hires. Again, this is for FY22 Q3. Data out for the entire fiscal year, but we are so excited that, as you can see, our number has continued to increase over the years. So going all the way back to 2016 and looking at the number of resource assistants that we hired, which was 4. And now to look at 2022 and look at the number that we are able to hire, that we have been able to hire to date. And I would also like to just share what has happened over the years that has caused this increase. But before I share some of the solutions and some of the great things that we have been able to do over the years, I want to share the challenges to let you know where we come from. So, HR and hiring managers, along with a lot of others, there was a lack of knowledge of the program, and the authority of the program. And we didn't really have any standard processes in place. And we didn't have a recruitment strategy to ensure that one would qualify or meet the OPM requirements at the end of the program when it's time to convert them. So some of the things that we have been able to implement in the program that has allowed us to be more successful, in 2018, as a part of the Farm Bill, we were awarded the Direct Hire Authority. So in 2018, as we transitioned into 2019 and we started using the Direct Hire Authority, that's when the game changed. That's when the hiring shifted. Because with the Direct Hire Authority, it then eliminated another barrier, which is, of course, USA Jobs. And so again, this has allowed us to directly appoint one into position without further competition. We have also since then have been able to get an e-tracker enhancement where we have our very own DHA action. So if and when you are hiring RA, you have a action to go to. So we're able to make sure that we're streamlining that process and making that process very simple and very easy. Because before we didn't have our own action. So there was a lot of different actions being used to process these hires. And of course, that came with a great deal of confusion. And then lastly, another solution is providing webinars such as this. We have been continuing to provide webinars for the RAs to equip them with all of the necessary tools to be successful, as well as hiring managers, educating hiring managers on the program, on the authorities, on the processes to hire, as well as our partners, educating our partners about who we are as an agency, the complexity of some of the positions that we have, the uniqueness, and the importance of the degrees and the experience that one might need to qualify for a position. So that's really what it's about. It's about making folks aware of the program and the authorities and just, again, streamlining these processes. And I know that I think Tina might have shared this, but the agency does have a hiring goal of 400 hires with the workforce development program. And I think that as we continue to bring more awareness to the program and be very intentional and strategic in how we implement these in this program, that we will definitely be able to meet that goal or get very, very close. All right, so that was a run through of what the Resource Assistance Program is and where we come from, sharing some data. So now I want to go into the second part of the presentation where we're going to talk a little bit about how to request an RA, how to engage an RA, and then how to hire an RA. So twice a year, we have our resource assistance cohort, which means we have twice a year that you can request an RA. This request, newly added, we have this request form. So this is just a snapshot of the form that we use in which you will submit your request. So this is our intake form. So if you are interested in the program, you would just submit this intake form and then we will receive it. And at the end of our intake process, then we will go through our process of determining if you are awarded a position. So let's talk about what goes into requesting an RA. We want to make sure that as you think about the resource assistance program, is it a good fit? Is the resource assistance program the best program for your needs? Are you committed to the program intent? Again, this program puts an emphasis on development, on diversity, equity, and inclusion. So we want to make sure that you and your staff are on board to support that. We also want to make sure that you do have an approved vacant position or you have your region, station, or area leadership commitment for placement. Because again, the ultimate goal is to place the RA. So we want to make sure that there's full commitment, not just from you as a mentor, but from your leadership, that you will assist the RA with placement at the end of their term. We want to make sure that your funding is approved. Again, these positions are funded by the local unit or the requesting unit. And so we want to make sure that your funding is approved And as we talk about funding, I know there's various types of funding, but I just want to also acknowledge that we administer this program through program dollars. So we are not able to use S&E dollars to support a resource assistant while they're in the program. So I just want to make sure that that was clear as an understanding for the funds, as well as we also do not uh, take or receive those reimbursement funds. We do not approve those to be used for the program. And there are very limited opportunities for the build funding just because that comes with additional program requirements and reporting. And so we definitely try to limit that. So, but again, if you have program dollars and they're fully funded and they're approved, then great. The next thing we like to really focus on as you request an RA is going to be that professional series. Again, this program allows us to tap into underrepresented communities. So as we tap into the underrepresented community, we bring them into the agency. Let's make sure that we are bringing them into the agency in those entry-level positions that are on track to be in management. We want to make sure that we're really focusing on those professional series positions because RAs have a degree. And just like a lot of our, or majority of our professional series positions, they require a degree. And so, we just want to make sure that we are really aligning the program and really providing that inclusion in our higher level positions. And the last thing I'll say on this slide is that if you have multiple requests, then you must submit a request for each or submit a form for each request. All of it has to be done individually. So I want to talk a little bit about the timeline and what happens next. So after you submit that form, what happens next? So I talked a lot about our RSA liaisons, and at the end of the presentation, if they're online today, then I'll definitely allow them to introduce themselves. So again, just to be reminded, your RSA liaison is going to be your region, station, area. Some of them are going to be your volunteering services coordinator, and then for others, we'll share who that might be. I think some of the stations are still determining who that liaison will be. But your liaison is who you will work with throughout this process. So as you submit your request, we compile those requests and we share it with the region station area liaison for validation and approval. And what I mean by validation and approval, they're going to talk to you about the program to make sure that, again, you meet those requirements that I just listed out and making sure that your funding is good. And once they validate that and approve it, then they send it back to the Washington office. And then we provide that final WO approval. And then we start assigning the positions to the partners. So there's a couple things that go into that consideration of assigning a position to the partner. We take in consideration that if a unit has a set amount of funds that they have for the resource assistant, then we try to make sure that we give them to the partner that has the least amount of program support rate. Because all of our partners have a different program support rate, which means the actual cost can vary depending on the partner you're assigned to. We also try to take into consideration where the partners have had the best success. And so looking at the needs of the requesting unit, if they are looking for a particular group or underrepresented group to tap into, whether it is tribal engagement or Hispanic engagement, then we will assign that partner, the partner that has the best network in order to recruit from that demographic, as well as the position type. So there's a lot of different things that go into assigning the partner. After assigning the partner, we will provide you with your actual cost. So when you request an RA, you will see, just depending on if you are requesting a 8-month or 12-month in-person virtual, as well as how much you're going to pay them, whether it's the 500, 650, 750, all of those can fluctuate that cost. But once we assign them to a partner, then we will provide you with the actual cost. Once we provide you the actual cost, then you will work with your budget point of contact to make sure that they will then link the funds in the work plan to our WPAP that we provide. So all of this is provided to you. You will have all of this information. Your budget person will have this information as well as your liaison. So again, we really rely on that liaison to make sure that they are helping us to facilitate this process of linking those funds. While we're also talking about funds, I want to also acknowledge that once we link these funds to an agreement and it is obligated, we are not in the practice of de-obligating funds because that just takes more work on us to have to de-obligate the funds. And because it's not just one position on an agreement, it really affects other positions. And so we do not de-obligate funds, but we will work with you to reallocate your funds and support a new RA or support a future RA with additional funds. So there are options or alternative options. So next is the agreements process, as you can see here, followed by you as a requester. You will then provide or develop your PD. So developing that position description for the partner to post to start recruitment. And just to talk a little bit about that, we want to make sure that we really provide the partners the adequate information so that they can properly recruit. So what is the position that you're going to be that you're going to be training someone in, and how will they be successful in converting? What is that degree that they're going to need to convert into that position? What is the specialized experience? That's what you're going to want to share with the partner so that they can make sure that they recruit the best candidate for you. And also just sharing some of those unique things about your particular unit, especially if your RA will be working in person. With the recruitment phase, we are all assisting with recruitment. We do provide flyers for the resource assistant program. This year, we're also going to have a story map of the positions. The partners will do recruiting. So it's all up to us to help each other with recruiting and making sure that we are spreading awareness of the positions that we have. Following the recruitment phase, we have the interview and selection. So as a mentor or I know some people get the word supervisor and mentor confused, but in the resource assistant program, the supervisor or the person that's over the position, we call you a mentor. So once the recruitment phase is over, the mentor will go through the interview and selection process. And once one has been selected and made a job offer and accepted, the Washington office will then provide their onboarding support. So during onboarding, again, we order the computers, we initiate the Forest Service profiles, and we make sure that all of their documentation has been signed, such as their 301A volunteer agreement forms, and all of those other onboarding things. We take care of all of that and provide that guidance to you. And then lastly, orientation. The Washington office, we, along with Green and Youth Foundation, provide a orientation. Of course, since we launched RAP 2.0, we have only had the opportunity to engage virtually, but we are planning for a in-person orientation in February. I just wanted to give an overview of what this process actually looks like. And then this is just a quick snapshot of our summer 2023 cohort timeline. We will be providing that request opportunity in November, the beginning of November. Our request portal will open. So if you are interested in engaging the RA, be on the lookout for that request portal to open in November, with a start date of June 5th through the 9th for the summer cohort. So next, I want to talk a little bit about how to engage an RA. And looking at the engagement, again, I talked about those roles and responsibilities of the RSA liaison, the Washington office, and you as a mentor. So first, I want to talk about the Washington office. I talked about onboarding and how we provide that support with the laptops and link passes all throughout their engagement, as well as the orientation. During orientation, we have sessions such as the Forest Service 101, Forest Service history, conflict management, this is who we are, financial literacy. We have presentations from the Office of Tribal Resources, as well as mindful resiliency, and so much more. We really try to make sure that we prepare the RA for the Forest Service, as well as for their position through orientation. While they're working as an RA, we have a Microsoft Teams group that Vanessa manages with the RAs. And so she is able to engage with them on a day-to-day basis, really asking questions and answering questions that they might have, providing that ongoing support. And we have multiple groups within Microsoft Teams. We have a group for all RAs. We have groups per cohort, as well as a RA alumni group. And so they're able to share their experiences, share information, share trainings. And so it's really amazing how she's able to manage this RA engagement and provide that support. We also provide workshops. I myself provide a workshop where I cover USA jobs, federal resumes, hiring processes, hiring authorities. My background before this position, I was a recruiter. And so I'm able to use that knowledge from my recruitment to help prepare the RAs for that conversion after the program. We also share outreach notices. We assist the national collective hiring teams with RA placement for all of the national collective hiring events that we have, as well as provide training opportunities. So we provide a lot of support from the Washington office. So let's talk a little bit about the engagement of an RA by the mentor, because this is the key piece. You are who they are seeing and working with and engaging with every single day of their RA-ship. And this requires full commitment. You're not just a supervisor, but you're a mentor. So what does that mean? And what do we really expect you to do? What are those expectations? So we expect for you to create and provide a work plan. What will this RA be doing? We want to make sure that there is a plan in place, a training guide, if you will, to ensure that in completion of the program, that the RA will meet those requirements in order to successfully be hired into that position. We want to make sure that they are being provided those high quality job training and experiences and really getting exposure to the agency and to our different resource areas, as well as an individual development plan. So here you can see a screenshot of a resource assistant work plan and an IDP. We do provide this to the mentors as a guide, but you are more than welcome to create your own. But this is, again, our way of just trying to make sure that we standardize the engagement and making sure that all RAs are supported. But again, it is up to you as a mentor to create this document. And then once your RA is hired, you will work together to finish the document and make sure that it is successful for the RA as well as you as a mentor in your unit. We want to make sure that you clearly define the goals and expectations that you have in the position, while also keeping in mind, again, that this is a workforce development program and that this is the developmental program for the RA themselves. So we want to make sure that you are ready to promote them and support them professionally. And sometimes that even means supporting them personally. The participants in this program, a lot of them are straight out of college. Some people might call them green. And so as they are green coming out of college, we want to make sure that they have the support that they need, especially if they have relocated. I myself relocated straight out of college to work for the Forest Service. And had I not had the support that I had, I don't know that I would be here today. But it's because of that community that was around me within the office and the actual community that helped me to be successful in my start with the agency and made me want to stay where I was in this agency. We want to make sure that the mentors are providing opportunities such as trainings and the opportunities to connect and network with other Forest Service employees, and making sure that they are meeting leadership and they're getting into the faces of those that could potentially have an impact on their life and on their career professionally, and again, also maybe even personally. We ask that you provide them the information and the guidance to get government driver license if they are going to be driving a government vehicle, just connecting them with the fleet manager. Simple as that. You know, they have no idea what happens next, but you do. So just making sure that you have these things in place. Even being red carded, RAs can participate in fire assignments. So providing them the opportunity to connect with a FMO, with a fire management officer to get red carded, which presents a great opportunity. I myself was once a firefighter, and so I know the opportunity that it has for me. And the resource assistants in the past have really enjoyed their opportunity to participate in fire support. So the last thing that I'll add to this is that it's also your responsibility as a mentor to connect with your RSA liaison and your partner, because you have support. So don't think that you have to do this on your own. The Washington office is here to support you as a mentor. Your RSA liaison is there to support you as well as the partner. The mentor is also responsible for requesting an extension. So if you see that your RA is doing an amazing job and you want to extend them so that you can ensure that they are being hired, then you will be responsible for requesting that extension through the Washington office so that when we make the modifications to the agreement, that your RA will be a part of that. So now we're going to talk a little bit about how to hire the RA. So we created a Route Connect portal, which is accessible for all RAs as well as Forest Service employees. So you as a Forest Service employee can create a profile and you will be considered a hiring manager as it relates to the portal. And the RAs will have a profile that you are able to sort through and find a match for your opportunity. So if you're looking to hire or fill a position, we ask that you consider a resource assistant. Again, they are being trained in multiple areas of the Forest Service, and they have the degrees and the experience that you could be looking for. So if you visit the Route Connect portal, you're able to create a profile as a hiring manager, filter through the RAs to find that fit. So if you're looking for someone with an undergrad degree or a master's degree in communications, botany, forestry, what have you, you can put those into the filter and find an RA. Once you find an RA, you're able to click through their profile and look at their resume, look at some of their skill sets, their degree, and learn more about them. And if you're interested, then you can hit connect with them, and then they will be able to communicate with you back and forth here, or you can take their information and just send them an email outside of the system. But this is your way as a hiring manager to connect with an RA to fill a position that you have on your unit, as well as for the RAs to find you. So one of our most recent updates to the portal is we allowed or created an option for you as a hiring manager to post your job. And so you are able to make a post of your position, and RAs are able to filter through that to find, again, their right fit. And so this is a two-way working street, and we really enjoy utilizing this Route Connect portal. Vanessa will drop the link in the chat if you are ready today to start looking for your next RA hire. And we just look forward to continue to enhance this portal and sharing more. There will be some big updates to the portal as we go into the new calendar year, and we'll be ready to share that out next year. So going more into how to hire the RA, this is a how to hire guide that we provide mentors that are ready to hire an RA, as well as anyone else in the agency that's interested in hiring an RA. So it really gives you that background information on that on the authorities and what the resource assistant program, as well as that 1, 2, 3, 4 step-by-step process on how to initiate those the SF52 and what goes into the process. So I won't go through this entire process, but I will just say that again, we do have our own e-tracker request where you're able to go in. There are required documents in order to submit a request to hire an RA, and that's going to be your classified PD, your approved org chart, the resource assistant certificate, their resume, and their transcripts are what you're going to need. And so as you think about your positions and think about even creating career ladder opportunities, if you have a GS11, why not fill it as a 7-9-11 and engage an RA and develop them into that position? Just food for thought. And again, these certificates can be used for temp, term, and permanent positions. And the other great thing about the certificate and hiring an RA is that it can be used multiple times. So if you have a temporary position or a term position that you can fill with an RA, give them more experience and exposure, and then they can be then hired into a permanent position by utilizing that certificate once again. The last thing I'll share is that another thing to keep in mind is that although the RAs have what I like to call it the Willy Wonka golden ticket, they have this direct hire authority certificate, they still must meet the OPM requirements. So it's really up to us to make sure that they are successful in making sure that their resume has all of the specialized skills, those buzz and keywords that HR would need to qualify them. So if you are going to hire that RA, make sure that you set them up for success, provide them the PD that you will use, and make sure that their experience that they have and and what's needed for your job and aligns, and they are able to articulate that very well in their resume, because that's really important. The last thing I'll say is that ensure that your reviewer, your budget, and your leadership point of contact that you add to this tracker is going to be aware that you are submitting this. I have seen time and time again how we will submit a request or an e-tracker initiation, and it will sit there waiting on someone to review it or to approve it. So again, just best practices, make sure that everyone that you are going to be adding to this action is aware that it's being submitted so that we don't delay the process of hiring. So as I begin to wrap up this presentation, I just want to share some RA experiences with you. So these blocks here shares the words straight out of the mouth of the RA. So I won't read all of them, but I'll read maybe two, and then we'll just take a moment here on this slide so that you can read through on your own. When I graduated with my BS in accounting, I knew I wanted to work for a government entity, but the process of USA Jobs was daunting. When I started looking for a Forest Service intern, I found my RAP position. I have been matched with a job that I love, which fits my skill set. I don't know if I would have ever been able to find my role through traditional methods. I worked 3 seasons prior to the RA program, and I was not looking forward to competing against the thousands of others with only competitive status. This program gave me the direct access to this job, and I worked very hard for and has been giving me the opportunity to have a stable career for years to come for my family. Thank you. So again, I just want to stay here for just a moment so that you guys can just read through or scan through some more of these experiences. Our RAs are amazing and have done some amazing things in the agency. A lot of our RAs have had first-time experiences while participating in this program. And we're always thrilled to hear of those experiences. And I encourage you to attend in the future our RA Spotlight. At the end of each term, we have a RA Spotlight where we have RAs that represent each region that will do a presentation on their experience. And so, it's really eye-opening on the impact of the program and the RAs. And so, again, I just encourage you to be on the lookout for when we do these spotlights and join. But at this time, we're going to wrap this presentation up. And again, I just want to remind you that this RA partnership really helps the Forest Service to increase our capacity and address critical work while also promoting cultural transformation and workforce development. So if you want to learn more about the program, RAP objectives, our benefits, roles and responsibilities, and hear more success stories, you can definitely visit our websites here. You can send us an email. There's also hiring guidance, and there's also that RAP Connect portal that I talked about a little bit earlier. And myself and Vanessa is always as well here to assist you and support you. So thank you so much for attending this presentation. We hope that you leave this presentation well informed. Hopefully it was something I shared today that just brought more awareness to the program, and as well as to the quality of the program and the participants that we have. So at this time, we're going to open it up for a Q&A. I'm going to stop sharing.